This is a video I'm producing about what businesses, big businesses, do to consumers and how they do have a thing called sharp practices, which I'll describe in more detail later on. The situation is, in this particular case, I was dealing with a company called Zoom, which I've used in the past, and they provide a good service. I'm not no problem with that. Uh, I had a situation where I wanted to have a virtually a equivalent to a Zoom meeting or a meeting, an online meeting with various people. And in the past, I've used another service to do this, which is Facebook Messenger. Facebook Messenger did what I required. However, the Zoom product, which I have also used in the past, during the pandemic, they made Zoom available for everybody. And then since the pandemic, they've reduced that, and I'll explain what I mean by that a little bit later on. So I wanted to use a Zoom product, so I decided what I should do is go and have a look at subscribing to Zoom. I have previously paid money and subscribed to Zoom for 1 month. Anyway, this is the Zoom website. This is their plan and pricing. So I'll go into plan and pricing and show you basically what I did. Okay, it's going into there. In their plans and pricing, when it comes up, it says, righto, the basic plan is free, right, but it's limited to 40 minutes. Okay. In 40 minutes wasn't going to be enough for what I wanted. In the past, what you could do is you could go into Zoom, use it for 40 minutes in the basic plan, and then when you finish, go straight back in and start it again, right? It's since changed that, and after the 40 minutes, you have to then wait another couple of minutes, don't know what it is, 3 to 4 minutes before you can go in. So you can upgrade to the Pro version. The Pro version, and then there's a business version. The Pro version has meetings of up to 30 hours, which was more than enough for what I wanted to do. So what I did is I actually went through this upgrade process. I actually paid, wasn't the $20.25. There was another thing that came with Zoom that said you can get it for this month only a little bit cheaper. It was $19 or something like that. So I decided to do that. So I did that. A couple of days later, I had my Zoom meeting. That was it. That was the end of it, I thought. However, then about a month after that, I get this letter, which I can quickly slide across the phone. Okay, I get this email from Zoom saying, payment processed. Thank you for your payment. Please review your payment amount below. We have attached a PDF detailing the payment, account number, payment method, payment date, 5th to the 4th, 2025. This is a month after my initial Zoom one, all right? So I thought, what's going on here, all right? I had been charged for the previous month. I'm now being charged for another month. Why? So I thought I'd better go and have a look. So back to the Zoom website. Let's go back to the Zoom website, all right? I go back to the Zoom website, all right, and the first thing I do is I go over here and I thought, righto, I'll contact Zoom. In fact, I found this down here, a telephone number. So what I decided to do is ring that telephone number. So I rang that telephone number, all right, and got on, and then it asked me for what was the account number or the invoice. I went back to the other screen, looked it up, gave them that particular number, and they said, hold on, and you were put on hold. So I waited. So I waited for about 5 minutes, and that was enough. I hung up. All right. So the next day, I thought I'll do the same thing. So I once again rang that telephone number. I think it's that same telephone number. I looked up that telephone number, rang them up, and I got a message, and I got asked, it asked, what do you want to do? You know, option one for this too. And I took the option for billing, what the Americans call billing, we call invoicing. And they then it came through and said, oh, we're closed for the weekend. Trouble was, it wasn't a weekend, it was a Wednesday. So it was right smack in the middle of the week. So I don't know what happened there. So I thought, what am I going to do now? So I went through and did a general Zoom, went through and did a general Google search for what to do about cancelling a Zoom account. So I looked up that, and that actually sent me a link of how, linked me on directly to a Zoom page that showed me how to cancel the Zoom subscription, which I did. And well, in fact, it didn't work quite properly the first time. It actually told me to use the Zoom AI. The Zoom AI described how to do it and said I'll do it, and I'll receive an email to say the subscription has been cancelled. I never got the email. So the Zoom AI is telling me how to do it, inferring that I have done it, but I didn't actually do it. So I actually went in later on with a Google search, found the Zoom account, right? Found how to cancel it and cancelled it. So I did cancel it, right? The thing was cancelled. I knew I wasn't going to be charged ongoing. However, there's still the issue of the payment I made for I was charged for a month, which I didn't want. I didn't want to use. So what do? So the next thing I do is I once again looked on the Zoom webpage how to. By the way, I'm doing it on my phone. Doing the Zoom webpage of how to, get a refund. Doesn't say anything there, not that I could find. So once again went to Google. Thank you, Google, and it told me how to go getting a refund. And you have to put in some sort of request, which I did. Okay, so this is the profile of the request. I'll just make myself smaller. So we can see what the request is. Okay. Uh, okay. It's there. Okay. This is the back and forth thing that I went through with Zoom. All right. And I'll just go to the bottom there, which is the last one. And this is what I wrote to them. Wrote here. I said, I took out a Zoom subscription for 1 month only. After that month, I got charged for another month. Please reverse that charge as I did not authorize the additional month. I have not used it and I do not want it. Please reverse the charge within the next 24 hours. Okay, so that's what I sent to them. Okay, another thing is they got back to me nice and quickly. It was less than 24 hours. So this is their reply from a Fatin Anar. I don't know how to pronounce that. And great explanation, but let's read through this. It says, Hi Jeff, thank you for reaching out to Zoom support. I understand you're requesting a refund for your subscription and I'd be happy to clarify the details for you. Notice it's happy to clarify the details, not give me a refund. Our records show that you subscribed to the Zoom Workplace Pro monthly plan on April the 4th, 2025. Please note that automatic renewal is enabled by default for all online purchases, as Zoom operates on a subscription-based model. For monthly plans, the subscription automatically renews at the same day each month, in your case, the 4th of every month. So that's that whole paragraph there. Now, I was not aware of that. Okay, I just highlight all that. Anyway, it's not going to work. All right, I was not aware that that was going to be the situation. Anyway, but they go on. As stated in Zoom's terms of service, all subscription charges are non-refundable once processed. I can confirm that your subscription was renewed on the 4th of May 2025 and subsequently cancelled on May the 5th, 2025 after the renewal process was completed. While the subscription is now cancelled and you will not renew moving forward, the charges for the current billing period remain valid and is not eligible for a refund. I'll repeat that, is not eligible for a refund. Okay, that's me repeating that, not them. Cancelling your subscription before it expires means you'll finish your current subscription for the remainder of the billing period. Once the subscription expires, your Zoom account will revert to a basic account. You will no longer have the paid features and you will no longer be billed. We appreciate your understanding. If you have any further questions or need assistance with your account, please don't hesitate to reach out. And they're signed it. Okay. So what they're basically saying is their conditions say that you cannot get a refund. Okay. So I wrote back to them. So this is their same meeting again, same thing again. So I wrote back to them. This is my reply to that email. Thank you for your response to my asking for a refund for a continuing service I did not want. Under Australian consumer law, it is illegal to not offer a refund. Australian consumer law overrides any agreement that Zoom may have. And I've put a link to Australian consumer law. I'll go to that link. All right. Okay. Major problem with the service. And that talks about what a major service problem is. It infers here that you have to have a problem with the service. My problem with the service is that the service kept on charging me. I consider that to be a major problem. Okay. So that's this ACCC website talking about that. Go back to the email. Okay. So I wrote, I am asking for a refund because of a major fault with Zoom's service. That major fault being that I was not told that the Zoom billing automatically charges me every month. Or if somewhere on Zoom's website it does say it will be charged every month, that was not made clear to me at the time I took out the service. So I'm saying that's a major fault, therefore I want a refund. And I've said, please refund the last month's charge and also change the wording on your agreement about not offering refunds as it does not comply with Australian consumer law. Please do so within 24 hours. Thanks, Jeff Gregg. Okay. So very soon after that, I received another email from Zoom saying, hello, Jeff. Thank you for your message. We're escalating your case to an internal department to review your request, and we will provide you an update as soon as possible. In the meantime, please check out the Zoom webpage. Have a great day. No, it wasn't a great day because they're saying they're not going to give me a refund. Anyway, so not long after that, in fact, I don't know what the time is. What was the time on that one? That was 1927. I don't know, that's American time. And this time it was 22:45. So it's only a couple of hours later. All right, I get this email. Hello, Jeff. Thank you for your patience. We appreciate your business. As a one-time courtesy, your subscription for Zoom Workplace Pro Monthly has been cancelled and will no longer be billed going forward. Now, I didn't understand that. I thought I'd already done that, so I don't know why they're giving me that as a courtesy. More about that later on. We've also reviewed your request and refunded you for invoice number such and such for a total of $22.71 Australian dollars. Please allow 3 to 5 days for the credit to be reflected back to your account. If you'd like to resubscribe, you can follow the following steps. I'll go ahead and they're basically saying that they're going to end the ticket. And in the next little thing, they've said, righto, they're going to end the ticket. So that's it. So I got the refund. Not a problem. Okay. However, that's not what they originally said. That's not what they originally said. They said I wasn't going to get a refund. I had to do things a particular way to get a refund. And I did, and I had to go to that extra step of doing it. Why? Anyway, just another little thing I'll quickly show you. If I can find it. Okay. Where is it? There, one there. I then went back and had another check out of Zoom's terms and conditions. Now, I don't know if this was in their terms and conditions before I wrote that email or afterwards. But anyway, it says 12.2, non-cancelable and non-refundable charges. In fact, before I do that and show all that, I'll just quickly jump to another email I sent them after I received that email. I'll just see if I can quickly jump to that. All right. Okay. That one, yes. Okay. Here it is here. I'll move myself out of the way. All right. Okay. And see what they've got here. Okay. So this is what I wrote to their email about giving me the refund, but that was it. I said, thank you for your reply. Also, thank you for organising the refund that I can see has already passed through PayPal. I have already cancelled the ongoing subscription to Zoom, as you acknowledged in your previous email. I'm confused as to the wording, in quotations, what they said. As a one-time courtesy, your subscription to Zoom Workplace Monthly Pro has now been cancelled and you will no longer be billed going forward. End of quote. I did not think it was something that Zoom would have to do as a one-time courtesy. I was under the impression I could cancel a subscription at any time. If you meant the one-time courtesy was in Zoom refunding the month's charge, I do not accept that. I accept the refund as Zoom meeting its obligations under Australian consumer law. On my last email, I asked you to refund the last month, which you have done. Again, thanks. But I also asked Zoom to change its wording in its agreement about not offering refunds, as it does not comply with Australian consumer law. Please indicate if Zoom is going to do that? If it is not, I can then report that to the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission. Thanks, Jeff Gregg. Okay. So, as I said, I don't know if they actually did that. By the way, that was an email I sent on Thursday, the 8th of May. Now, today, when I'm recording this, is Saturday, the 10th of May, and I have not had a reply to that email. However, as I said, going back to that other screen that I had open a minute ago, back to there. Okay, there it is. All right. However, as I said, I noticed when I read their terms and conditions, and I don't know if it said this before I started all this or afterwards, but it then says non-reviewable, non-cancelable and non-refundable charges. You agree that all payments are non-cancelable for the initial subscription term or the then current renewable term as applicable, and are final and non-refundable. Notice the word non-refundable. Unless unless otherwise agreed to by Zoom, and this word, required by law, or set forth in the order form. It is required by law. Okay? So this is the problem with big businesses, right? They know the law and they do a thing which I mentioned right at the beginning, which is called sharp practices. What they're doing is not illegal. They've said something and then they've got this little terminology that says, all required by law. They are required by law to give you a refund. But by the statement they made earlier to me that they'll not give me, in fact, they didn't actually say they won't give me a refund. They said it's not refundable. Different terminology, once again, the legal mumbo jumbo. However, an additional thing is, and I can't find it at the moment, but it's illegal in Australia for a business to say to a consumer that they're not entitled to something when in actual fact they are entitled to something. So I don't know if they've technically told me I wasn't entitled to a refund. I forget the wording, I'd have to go back to it. All right. However, it's illegal for them to say that, but most of them do. Happens with warranties all the time. People say, oh, it's not covered under warranty. You can't get a refund. You can't get this done. You're not entitled to this. You're not entitled to that. And probably what they're saying is technically right. However, it's using the wording. So all I'm suggesting in this particular case is everybody make sure you understand your rights under Australian consumer law. If you don't, and you want some advice, email me. I might be able to help you out, or contact me if you know who I am, and see what happens. All right. So all I'm saying is, if I had just let this go, which most people would have done, it's only $22, right? I would have paid $22. In fact, if I didn't really know it, I could have been paying $20 for the next 12 months. All right. But people don't realise you can cancel subscriptions and also you can get refunds, even though the business says you can't get a refund. Okay, that's enough about that. If you've got any questions, email me. You can put some things in the comments if you want to. Other than that, see you later. Goodbye.